Hello, everybody, and welcome back to GameStack Podcast right here on We Just Love Games Network. This is episode 125, 3-hour tour. Tour, from...
A 3-hour tour.
Yeah, Gilligan's Island, yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing, Shalene? Hi.
Hi, I'm here. It's Friday. I'm here. Hi.
Excellent. I am also here. I am your co-host Vendertron, and that lovely lady that you just heard on the audio is Miss Shalene. Our other co-host, unfortunately, Rick, is not able to join us this week, but we are going to carry the torch, and we want to welcome you in. Happy Friday. Welcome to the best part of what should be all of your weeks. And this little corner...
Definitely the best part of mine.
corner of the internet. I was so excited to do the show today. I don't know why. I was just excited. I was looking forward to it.
Because
so
you got to hang out with me,
yeah,
obviously.
And if you are listening live, coming into the channel, welcome. Thank you for joining us live this evening. We love that you are here. Thank you for all of the support. And if you are listening after the fact, this is a posted show to one of our podcast platforms. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming back and listening. And if you're new, welcome to the community. Don't forget to check out all of the things that are going on in our community Discord. Shalene will share those details with you in a moment. I do want to mention that the show, though, is sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee Blend. And $2 from every purchase of We Just Love Coffee Blend goes to the Children's Miracle Network. Yeah. Anything else you want to mention, Shalene?
No.
Excellent. So host us if you're listening live, /host space We Just Love Games. Rate in your own Twitch chat on your own Twitch channel. I don't know why they haven't created a local button for that. It's so odd. Tell your friends about the show. And make sure you get some snacks and a nice drink because buckle up. It's going to be a great show tonight. So, Shalene, what's going on in the Discord? Tell us about the Discord.
Well, today in the Discord, a new channel was born. Yes. This new channel is called the GameStack Mailbox.
Oh, yay!
Yes. And this was actually a brilliant innovation by the wonderful Vendertron, who was thinking that because screenshots and stories is doing so well, that a Discord way to reach out as opposed to email might be very successful. So if you would like to give us a topic to discuss on the show, ask us questions, anything that you just want us to chat about on the show, post that in the GameStack mailbox.
Maybe we should just call it the Mail Stack.
The Mail Stack. I love it.
Right?
On our new channel, the Mail Stack.
I'm going to rename it now.
Live on the show. We're changing things, innovating. And you can join our Discord by clicking the link on our Twitch page, twitch.tv/We Just Love Games. That link is there and available whether or not the channel is live. Alternately, you can shoot us a message on social media and we'll get you a link. I think you should join our Discord if you're not a part of it because it's a very fun place to hang out.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm excited for MailStack. I think it's going to be a great channel. It's cumbersome to write an email,
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to go into a whole different thing. But if you're in the Discord, you can do it on your phone. If you're listening to the show and you hear us say something silly and you want to correct us, like factually, if we're talking about a video game, which we often make mistakes about, you can send us a message and say, hey, you were talking about this, but it's actually this. Or you can say, what do you think about this? It's something that really bothered me with this video game or the gaming industry or, so-and-so.
Or just write in and tell us how much you love toast.
Yes,
yeah.
Or tacos.
Mm-hmm.
Tacos also delicious. Yeah, so that's the Discord. How can people join the Discord?
We've been through that.
Right Well, we've got a great show for you this evening. We're going to talk about some news. We're going to share with you what's going on in the game stock market, as well as a special segment for all of you lovely listeners and some gameplay. Let's hop right into it. This just in. Take it away, Shalene.
Okay, first off, I would like to welcome Joseph Tao back from vacation. Thank you so much for helping us compile
He's
the news.
back.
Yes, I was really excited to get the news email. So thank
Excellent.
goodness. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
Vendor, do you want to take this top story?
Sure, yeah. I think it's worth mentioning, everyone, that Travis Day, the one of the lead game designers for Diablo 3, has recently passed away. And of course, we always want to remember the lovely people in the gaming industry and gaming community that make so much great content, people that we've lost over the years as well. Certainly something that's worth recognizing. So if you don't know who Travis Day is, he is an Irvine area game designer who spent over a decade working for Blizzard, Activision Blizzard. And unfortunately, he has passed away recently at the age of 41.
That's so
And
young.
yeah, this news comes to us from his sister, Rachel Day, who is a visual FX artist and producer at Bonfire Studios. She posted on Twitter this morning, Morgan and I are saddened to share that our brother Travis Day passed away yesterday at 41 years old. He was loved greatly by friends and family and will be deeply missed. So, just to talk a little bit about who he was, he has been involved in the video game industry since 2005, where he started his career at Blizzard Entertainment. And he first worked there as a customer service representative, then a quality assurance tester, and then moved on to game design. And he started his first game design project with the World of Warcraft. Which is kind of a big thing because Warcraft is like one of the most popular games out there. And then he moved on to be a systems designer and game designer on the Diablo 3 video game. He also worked on many other major expansions for both of those titles. In 2018, Day left Blizzard Entertainment and joined Phoenix Labs to work on a project called Dauntless. And according to his Twitter profile, he spent some time in Lightspeed LA, Tencent's Irvine area game development studio. And his colleagues send kind regards for him in response to the news shared today by his sister. And, he was described by his colleagues as, somebody who was just a pleasure to work with and a friend, a real caring person who shared his lives and insights with anybody who would listen, So, yeah, he will be deeply missed. That's so young. So young, 41.
It's very young. That's absolutely a tragedy.
Yeah, so I thought it was worth, just nodding to him.
Absolutely. We send our condolences to his friends and family. Okay. Well, our next article is very silly, actually. So we're just going to take a sharp turn into silliness. I thought this was really funny. This is a Kotaku article by Patricia Hernandez, and this kind of goes almost into the realm of zany Kotaku news that we used to do.
Okay.
So this is an Elden Ring article. There was a mistake, like a little bug, that if you wore a particular dress, it kind of made the game even harder if you wore a particular dress. So this starts off with a faction called the Deathbed Companions, and Fia, a character in the game. And by accepting a hug, it can permanently damage your health. And that's a thing. That's a thing that people noticed and acknowledged. But there is a deathbed dress in Elden Ring, and if you wore this, you were playing on hard mode. Up until this most recent patch, wearing that dress made enemies notice you more easily, even if you were crouched in sneak mode. So, and what's worse is that if you use any charged attacks while wearing this dress, your ally characters would take damage.
It's
Um,
almost like it's not really a bug and more so a metaphor for what women have to deal with every day in real life. Am I way off base there?
oh my goodness, it's so funny. And the description for this dress says the touch of the fabric is exceedingly soft, so as not to harm even the most withered corpse, while still sharing her warmth.
Oh no, no, no.
Joshi was wearing this dress while he played. It's so pretty, he says. It's so pretty
Uh
though. So I think that's just hilarious. I just had to shout that out. It has been patched, so the
okay.
dress no longer is a beacon to enemies. But I just that's hilarious. It's really funny.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Speaking of video games, as we do
On a gaming podcast.
on a gaming podcast, my segue game is very weak today. Cult of the Lamb has released, and this
Nine times
game
out of
has
Woo!
been
being a
highly anticipated.
Sorry
And
about that.
I thought it was on mine, and I
No,
was
I
trying to shut it off.
just a little tidbit for website
Yes.
developers listening to the podcast. Don't put sound pop-ups on your site. That's just
Indeed, please
Sorry,
don't.
continue. Sorry.
So, Cult of the Lamb is reviewing super, super well. And it is a roguelike with some dungeon crawling, which is a combination of words that is typically not my jam. But I think I may have to try this game.
Cult of
It
the Lamb.
has it has a very adorable art style, but is also somehow super dark. Cult of the Lamb, it's adorable, it's dark. But this is it also includes, in addition to this roguelike dungeon crawling, you're leading a cult, you're managing a cult, and you can control your cult members, and it's a whole thing. But it's reviewing super, super well. GameSpot gave it 90 out of 100. Destructoid gave it 85 out of 100. GameSpot called it a bit demented, which is part
What?
of
Well,
the
GameSpot is demented, so can I just say that I think that this little lamb is going to make the best Funko Pop
Oh, you're right.
with his
You're
square
right.
little head and his little poofy hair and just
Mhm.
adorable. Yes.
Yes. Game Informer gave it 80 of 100, IGN 80 of 100. And it's just reviewing super well. I think this game looks
Looks great.
fascinating. It looks like something a little bit different, and that's not something we see too often in the gaming industry. So I think I may have to check this one out. It's
Possibly.
wild.
Possibly.
I mean, who doesn't want to run their own cult, right?
Yeah, I don't
Just
really.
me?
Yeah,
Just
okay.
me then? Okay. It's okay. You can have a place in my cult, a favored place on my right hand. Okay, that'd be great.
Is this a cult right now? Are you trying to like? Is this happening?
Don't think
Have you been
too
working
deeply
6 years
about
up
it.
to this moment?
Yes. Yes. That's entirely possible. That this has been I've been playing the long game here. And you are all members of my cult. So congratulations.
That would
And
explains why I wear so many hats now.
oh goodness. So the PlayStation website now has a section that is dedicated to PC games. And I think this is a fantastic, fantastic sign for some more diversity in terms of where we can choose to play our games. Console exclusivity, we've talked about it in the past.
Yep.
It's something everybody talks about. It's
Hey.
not a consumer friendly thing. But we've had PlayStation begin to release some of its exclusive games on the PC, like God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Days Gone, and the Spider-Man games, Uncharted. It's really it's great that more gamers get the chance to check out these incredible games
Yeah.
that were formerly tied to the console. And the fact that they have dedicated a whole section of the website to PC gaming, to me, that indicates that this is something they've had success with, something they want to continue doing, something they want to devote resources to. And I just think that's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So let's get these games in the hands of more players who will enjoy them.
Yeah.
And I would just like to say that in the live chat here on the podcast, the our devoted listeners are also they are lovely followers of the Cult of Shalene. So it's going super well so far. Vodka Knockers drank the punch. He's admitted to having drank the punch. So it's great. This is really cool. Van Sylvan says, "All hail the hats! All hail the hats!" So that's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for being part of the Cult of Shalene. And
That'll be $20. Your
yes,
subscription
and
will
your
renew
firstborn
in
child.
30 days. Can you imagine? Oh, I mean, that's a thing that already exists, but you know.
Yes, indeed. So, um, wow. Okay. How do I go? Where do I go from here? Thank you. Thank you. That's great.
Yeah,
It's,
I got you covered.
thank you. So, Microsoft and Sony have been having a little bit of a cat fight over this last few weeks. It feels very immature to me. And it's based around the Activision acquisition, Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard.
Okay.
And they've been kind of sniping at one another, these companies. Sony, of course, opposes the acquisition because that would be fewer games on their platform, which is totally understandable.
Yep.
But in this GamesIndustry.biz article by Brendan Sinclair, Microsoft has accused Sony of paying devs to stay off of Game Pass. Um, which, I mean, can you blame them? Of course, you want to undermine your competitors. You want to it's ridiculous. It's so silly. The accusation was made in a document that was sent to Brazilian regulators assessing Xbox's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Microsoft's ability to continue expanding Game Pass has been obstructed by Sony's desire to inhibit such growth. And Sony pays for blocking rights to prevent developers from adding content to Game Pass and other competing subscription services. I just I don't blame them. This is business. I mean, pay them more if you want them on Game Pass. Let's offer them more. That's so silly. It's so silly. And this follows an argument by Sony that they were wanting to state that it would be that they were going to make Call of Duty that they were going to limit that to Xbox consoles. And Microsoft said that making Call of Duty an Xbox exclusive would simply not be profitable for the company, which seems awfully silly.
That is so
Call of Duty
odd.
is absolutely a system seller. It's a system seller.
Yeah.
People play video games that only play Call of Duty. It's a
Correct.
thing. That's
Correct.
just it's a ludicrous thing to say.
Yeah.
It's a ludicrous thing to say. I don't know. I don't know. This is just it feels very catty the way that they're sending these statements back and forth. Um I don't like it. I'm not a fan. What do you think, Thunder?
Well, I don't know. I think it doesn't demonstrate leadership
Hmm.
and camaraderie in the gaming industry. Um, but I mean, like, where's the line on capitalism in the gaming industry? Because, right?
Hmm.
And when these companies get so big, we know what happens. We know what happens. The quality of employment changes, either for the better or for the worse, and the level of caring on a corporate level about the people that work for the company usually goes down. Right?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
so like, I don't know. Maybe it's just like two CEOs in their offices, one at Sony, one at Microsoft, like duking it out.
I feel
Um
like each of them has got a picture of the other tacked to their wall and they throw darts
yeah,
at
and
it.
the eyes are like cut out
Hmm.
of the
Yeah.
of Microsoft, if Microsoft and Sony had eyes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I personally, from the perspective of thinking about like corporate social responsibility and trying to demonstrate yourself as a good leader, not just in games, but in like community engagement and respect. Um, does respect stop when it comes to collaborating or working with other companies?
I just think that we shouldn't be so surprised to see companies trying to make money at any cost. That's what companies do. And Microsoft is trying to make money at any cost by uh, completing this acquisition. You know, they want to acquire this publisher. And why are they surprised that Sony's trying to combat them? Why are they surprised?
Yeah.
It's silly. Of
Yeah.
course Sony's going to strike back. They want to keep as much of the market share as they can.
Yeah.
It's just it feels very immature and
I
silly
don't
to
know.
me.
I think it's just like stupid and it's a waste of time and they're both going to look like idiots in the end.
Indeed.
So,
So you know who else looks like an idiot? The girl in the Forspoken trailer that
oh,
was
I thought it
released
was me.
recently.
Woo!
Never, never you vendor. This is a really bad trailer. It's
Which
about
trailer?
30 seconds. This Forspoken trailer.
Oh, let me see if I can cue it up for you here.
Yeah, it's become quite the meme already.
Oh no.
Yes, are you able to pull it up, do you think?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
think I've got it here. There's a Photoshop ad. So,
it's
stand by.
just yeah.
So what's the deal with this?
You need to see it.
Oh,
It's or
okay.
hear it at
Okay.
least.
Hear
It's
it? We need
the
audio for
dialogue. We need audio. Do
Okay.
we not have
No,
audio?
we've got it.
It's
We've
quite beautiful.
Okay.
Is this the one?
Nope,
Yeah,
that's
in a everything here wants
Is
to
it?
kill you kind of way.
Sorry,
No,
chat.
that's not the one. It's a 30-second one. That one. That
It's
one.
the Twitter one?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I should have queued this ahead of time.
Yeah, it's this one.
Okay, let me just make this full screen. And we're rolling. We're rolling, everyone.
So let me get this straight. I'm somewhere that's not what I would call Earth. I'm seeing freaking dragons, and oh yeah, I'm talking to a cuff. Yeah, okay, that is something I do now. I do magic, kill jacked up beasts. I'll probably fly next.
Okay. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
What's going on here, Shalene?
The game itself actually looks pretty cool in my opinion. But that's just it's such a dumb trailer. Such a dumb trailer.
I
And
see what they're
the
trying to
dialogue
do.
is so bad.
I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it a little bit more fourth wall breaking.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But they've missed the mark entirely based on the quality of the audio that's laid over that.
Yes.
Because it sounds like somebody in a headset microphone talking, right? None of it is edited.
I think it's just such a shame because the game looks really cool, actually. And that's not a great way to showcase it.
Yeah,
Joseph Tao questions, was this made bad intentionally as part of a marketing strategy? Uh, I don't know. Were they setting out to create a meme here? I don't think so.
it's
I think they
possible
thought it
that
was great.
they assigned it to somebody who probably is not making trailers for their games anymore. Yeah.
It was extremely memeable. But
That's
it got
fun.
lots of attention, but not for the right reasons.
Yeah, you don't want bad press.
Well, I mean, as long as they spell my name right.
They always spell my name wrong. The only time media actually spelt my name right is when I write it down for them. Because, like, you know, I've done quite a few media interviews. And then I had this article in the National Post, which actually, like, I wrote it, so I wrote my own name.
Yes.
But other than that, it's usually wrong. Yeah.
It's funny.
I had this travel agent book my tickets for Copenhagen this past week, and she
You're so bougie.
well, no, we have to go through a travel agent because it's all paid for by the conference. And she misspelt my name. So I had to email her and be like, Jane, my name's wrong. It doesn't match my passport. Do you want me to get into the country or not? Anyways, yeah. Good job on the trailers. I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah. I think that's a swing and a miss.
It's a whole thing. So our next article is about the Victorian fantasy adventure Nightingale, made by an ex-BioWare boss. This has been delayed to 2023. This is a Eurogamer article by Matt Wales. So BioWare former boss Aaron Flynn founded Inflection Games, and they've been working on a game called Nightingale, and it looks absolutely incredible. And it's billed as a shared world survival crafting game. That's usually not necessarily my jam. I'm not so big on the survival games, but the art style of this game it's brilliant. You fight these Lovecraftian creatures, and it's
Look at the hats, though.
The hats, yes, the hats. It's magnificent. So they were originally planning to release this one in 2022, but they pushed it back into the first half of 2023. Take your time, and get this thing right. And
well,
I think
what's really funny is when you boot up the trailer at the bottom, it splashes pre-alpha. I'm like, what's pre-alpha? Alpha is the beginning. Like, what?
Isn't this just outstanding?
If this is
something special.
If this is pre-alpha and this is actual gameplay, because it looks like it's actual gameplay, this is very intriguing.
This game looks like something special, in my opinion.
Yes,
I'm quite looking forward to it.
Oh, I'm done.
Camping and fancy hats.
You can camp in the woods with a fancy hat. That's all I need to know.
Something about it reminds me of the Fable universe.
A little bit.
And I enjoy it.
Oh, look how those trees cut. Oh, there's building. I'm on board. Sorry. This is Moose Man. You know what, Shalene? This is the Elden Ring I wanted. Wait, no, not Elden Ring. What's that other game? Valheim. This is the Valheim I wanted.
Fantastic.
This is intriguing. I am 10 out of 10 going to give this a go.
Yeah. It looks splendid. I am really looking forward to that. Our next story is a CNBC article by Jack Stebbins. And this is a discussion of Netflix and its foray into gaming. So in November, Netflix has been including games as a way to keep users engaged between show releases. The games are accessible only to Netflix subscribers, and they have to be downloaded as separate apps.
Interesting.
But the games have been downloaded a total of 23.3 million times, an average of 1.7 million daily users. That's less than 1% of Netflix's 221 million subscribers. So that feels like a lot of people, but it turns out it's not a lot of people.
Yeah, no, that
So,
isn't a lot. But
yeah.
Netflix has tried to make this entrance into the gaming industry
Mhm.
before, right? We saw that with the Stranger Things game, and some work done with
Mhm.
Bear Grylls. Is that like the
Was there a Bear Grylls one? I
choose
don't
your
know
own
about that.
adventure in some bog in like Africa?
They've got 24 games right now across a variety of genres, and some of them are focused on Netflix shows such as Stranger Things 1984. Some of them are modeled after card games like Mahjong Solitaire and Exploding
Interesting.
Kittens. The catalog is planned to grow by 50 games at the end of the year, including Queen's Gambit Chess, based on the Netflix show Queen's Gambit.
I think they're going to be onto something finally.
Yeah, that might be fun.
It's possible.
But yeah, there's a bunch of mobile games that they have available in the mobile app. I think it was really funny. I think it was Moxie who had mentioned this in the Discord earlier this week, that it's just so weird to see a games tab in the Netflix mobile app. But yeah, that's a thing. Not many subscribers are using it. I wonder if they're going to try and double down on this and stick with it, or if they're going to cut their losses. What do you think,
If
Thunder?
they do stick with it, my curious question is this going to make the cost of Netflix go up again?
Right.
Are you going to have to pay some sort of separate subscription service? What's the cost to me as a consumer? Because if I'm going to watch Netflix and not actually use the gaming option, I wouldn't expect to pay more for my Netflix. So, right? And like, so are people going to be inadvertently paying to be able to access this content? Or is it already just part of the existing price and nothing's going to change?
It's likely baked into the price that already exists.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I like the idea of games that model shows. And the reason I say that is because we know how bad shows that model games are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Halo and The Witcher, which I heard
The
is
Witcher was
actually
brilliant.
pretty
The Witcher
good.
was brilliant. Yeah.
But it's hit and miss, and I think the other way around, I don't think that it's hit and miss. Because I've played games based on TV shows, and they're awesome. And it doesn't matter how bad they are because I'm so excited to just play them because I love the TV show so much. Harry Potter, for example, or Stranger Things was awesome. Never play 8-bit games, but because I love the show so much, I was 10 out of 10 more likely to play it.
That first Stranger Things game was really good. I haven't tried the subsequent ones.
It was a lot of fun. What other game? Ninja Turtles. Right? So I'm curious to see what kind of games they're going to make from the Netflix originals that they have, like Queen's Gambit. I mean, it's already there, but what is also going to be the quality of the content and the type of category of game? Like, I can't imagine that they're going to be like high caliber AAA with crazy graphics, because the ability for them to produce and spit out a game is going to have to be relatively quick, right? Like,
I would think so. I would think we're going to be looking at 2D type things in the near future.
Yeah.
Mobile experiences is what I would expect.
Yeah.
So
Downton slot machines. I used to play that all the time on Hit It Rich.
funny.
Me and Carlo, we would play it all the time. It was so addicting. Well,
you know what show doesn't have a video game? Breaking Bad.
Oh, I love Breaking Bad, except the
Breaking
stupid
Bad is so
wife. I hated Skylar. She's like one of the worst characters in that show. She's so bad.
There were definitely times that I hated Skylar, but there were also times when I kind of understood where she was coming from.
Oh, I understand.
I felt like she was a complicated character.
I understand her character's arc, but I'm saying that she's a bad actress. Like, she's just not good. Anyways, like what's her face from Twilight that just looks like she wants to poop all the time?
Oh, Kristen Stewart.
Yes.
But like, okay though. In her defense, that's how the character is written.
Really?
Yeah, she's like a celery stick with the walks. And this is said as someone who read and enjoyed the Twilight books.
Same.
She acts that character exactly as she's written, in my opinion. I think she nailed it. So
Okay. Tell us about Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. So wouldn't it be fun to play a Breaking Bad video game and just terrorize New Mexico and cook and sell meth and
Actually, yeah, that would be pretty awesome.
That'd be pretty rad,
right?
Yeah. It just feels like a match made in heaven. And Vince Gilligan, the creator of Breaking Bad, had the same idea, but nothing ever came of it. Speaking on his podcast, Inside the Gilliverse, Gilligan explains that he doesn't play many video games, but he saw the potential for bringing Breaking Bad to video games. He thought it would be a GTA-style entry.
Yeah.
And he made some inquiries into getting a Breaking Bad module developed for Grand Theft Auto, but it didn't work out. There were some other attempts that were made, including a VR title for PlayStation and a mobile game called Breaking Bad Criminal Elements that released but was soon discontinued. And these attempts allowed Gilligan to learn about the industry, but he was never able to make a true Breaking Bad video game experience. I think that a Breaking Bad video game in the GTA, like I think that if Rockstar worked on that, it would be a perfect fit. I really, really do.
Yes, and it would be a huge seller because Breaking Bad as a series is fantastic.
It's so good.
Absolutely fantastic.
You know, one of the best video games out there about drug dealing was GTA Chinatown Wars, which was a mobile entry in the series. And there was this drug dealing mini game in Chinatown Wars that was just absolutely brilliant. And I would love to see something like that with a Breaking Bad skin on it. That would be so fun.
Yeah.
It would be so fun. Yeah.
I think that would be great. Like, imagine, like, you do, like, it's in chapters. You know, the first chapter, you're a teacher, and you do the things, and you've got your home life and stuff like that. Then you get your diagnoses, and then the second chapter is like, how am I gonna pay for this? Getting into some funky stuff, and bam, you're in a motorhome out in the desert. Third chapter.
I think it would be better if we just started out with the I am the danger Walter White.
Yeah,
I feel like that
perhaps.
would be a better video game character.
Well, I think
than,
one of the things
original.
that GTA does really well is storytelling.
True.
And character development. Like, you know, we know and love the characters from San Andreas and Vice City and GTA 5, right? Like Trevor, for example. Very memorable.
I just can't see that actor in any show or movie or anything without being like Trevor.
Yeah.
And expecting him to do Trevor-like things. I just...
Can you imagine Saul? Oh, it would be so good. He rolls up in a giant Cadillac, you know.
That would be great. And it could be, that segment could be like a Phoenix Wright.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good.
That's one of the things
I've got.
I think that's one of the reasons why I loved Breaking Bad so much is because I've spent some time in Arizona and California, and
Which are not New Mexico at all.
I know, but it's still a desert. So I
They're
now
nothing like New Mexico.
No, you have to understand, as a Canadian living in the bush. Okay, there's no deserts here. We don't have cactuses or palm trees. So seeing that and experiencing that is really cool for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so watching Breaking Bad, it's like I kind of know what that feels like now. I can relate to like literally being in the middle of the desert in Nevada. So anyways, I don't know if you heard, so Better Call Saul, Saul Goodman, he was just saying, is it Peter Gould? Is that his name? No.
Bob Odenkirk?
Thank you. Yeah. He was just saying how this is going to be the last of Better Call Saul this season, because it can't go on forever. Like the Breaking Bad franchise just can't go on forever. But yeah. Anyways, tangent.
That's it. That's news.
All right. Well, let's roll over into GameStock. So the stock market is kind of wishy-washy this week. These figures, again, for our listeners, are presented to you in change from the previous week's show. We now have a fancy graph, thanks to our analysts here in the studio, that shows the percent change, or the change in the difference of the stocks. Sony up 48 cents, closing at 86.80. That's as of 4 p.m. Today, Eastern Standard Time. Microsoft up $9 since last week, $291.91 is what it closed out at. Nintendo down 12 cents at $53.94. Take-Two down $4.02 at $123.19. Activision up 20 cents at $80.79. Ubisoft down 40 cents, closing at $46.05. EA $131.37. Down $1.19, and Tencent closing out at $38.50, down 6 cents. Now this graph, it's because it's a comparison of the previous week, it really hasn't changed all that much. But you can see very clearly that Microsoft has had some pretty good gains this week. One of the other things that I wanted to chat about with the stock market is, in the last episode of GameStack podcast, we talked about the market going a little bit stagnant in video game industry. And this next article actually comes from investing.com, written by Liz Moyer. And she goes on to say how video game stocks are feeling the pressure now by people returning back to some other version of life from what the pandemic was. And we saw throughout the pandemic that video game stocks were darling stocks of the pandemic. They were things that people were investing in because there was a lot of speculation that more people would be staying home, more video games would be played. And they were, to a certain extent, right about that. Earnings from game makers, however, have showed declining engagement and sales as gamers got up from their consoles and put their mobile devices down to travel or seek other forms of real-life entertainment or return back to work. And data analytics for NPD said that consumer spending on video games in the U.S. actually fell by 13% in the second quarter of 2021. And, Roblox is a good example of just how volatile the market is right now for video games. Roblox Corp reported disappointing results on their top and bottom lines and said that their average active users was 52.2 million, which is about 1 million below what was expected by investors. And the gaming platform itself, Roblox is a place where people can build their own virtual worlds and things like that. And users can also purchase different items to dress their avatars online and pay for different features. But bookings for the last quarter, revenue has actually fallen by 4% for this video game specifically. We also see, Take-Two Interactive, which just recently completed its acquisition of Zynga, is posting sales up, actually, 41%, which we speculate is due to that acquisition. But NVIDIA Corporation, a significant significant decrease in shares, and that is partially to do with the fact that they're just not selling as much graphics cards because of Bitcoin taking a hit. Their shares price actually fell 37% since the last year. Xbox falling 11%. So yeah, hold fast and hold strong, friends. That's video game stocks. But I have I put together a special segment for you, Shalene.
Oh, really?
Yes.
For me.
Do you remember how we were talking about... forget about people listening to the show. This is just for you. Remember how we were talking about what we were going to name our ship?
Yes.
So in Sea of Thieves, now you have the ability to name your ship, which is like something that we've been waiting for like 4 years, ever, since the beginning of time. What do you think about naming ships in Sea of Thieves?
I think it's exciting. I'm looking forward to naming my own ship. But now, Vendor, I don't know what to call it.
Well, don't worry. I've got you covered because that's what the special segment is today.
Yay.
Yes. Today we're talking about the anatomy of a ship name. And I do want to report to you just some of the great names that the community has come up with on Sea of Thieves. This article is from Pro Games Guide by Justin Joy, and he goes on to talk about Season 7 and how you can name your ship. These are some of these names, I tell you, are really, really clever. So we've got Bye Felicia, which is like, I love it. We also have the Karen, the Poop Deck, Ship in a Bottle, Not a Pirate Ship, Shark Bait, Kraken Chew Toy, Land Ho, Ship Faced, Usain Boat.
I love that.
Bullshit,
Really
Bullship, Dude, Where's My Ship, Big Bertha, Sailor's Mouth, The Great Reefer, which I think is just brilliant, Foot Lovers, Nothing to See Here, and C is spelt, of course, SEA, Shipwright's Best Customer, Tacky Tina, and Into the Wind. Of course, you'll also remember some famous fictional ship names that were also used in Sea of Thieves, but mostly in music and video entertainment. So we have the Black Pearl from Pirates of the Caribbean, the Flying Dutchman, also from Pirates of the Caribbean, the Jolly Roger, Peter Pan, the Jackdaw, Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, the Dainty Lady from Monkey Island, Walrus from Treasure Island, the Dawn Treader from the Chronicles of Narnia, Argo from Jason and the Argonauts, the Pecoid from Moby Dick, and the Nautilus from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And I would also actually like to add one of my own, the Siren from Master and Commander. One of the best movies, yes. So those are some fictional well-known ship names, but some historical well-known ship names are things like Blackbeard's pirate ship, Queen Anne's Revenge, Royal Fortune, which is Black Bart's pirate ship, Bachelor's Delight, William Dampier's pirate ship, Satisfaction, Henry Morgan, the USS Constitution, which, as you know, is the former warship under the British Royal Navy, the Adventure Galley, William Kidd's pirate ship, the Titanic, the famous cruise liner that sunk.
I feel like maybe naming your ship the Titanic is not the best omen.
Well, I got a whole thing about how ships get named and what you might want to consider in naming your pirate ship, Shalene. Just to finish off this quick little list that I've got, the Mayflower is the Pilgrim's well-known pilgrim ship, as well as the Santa Maria, which was, as you know, sailed by Christopher Columbus to the New World, and the HMS Victory, which was a warship under the British Royal Navy as well. So lots of different ship names. I would like to see some of these ship names on the seas in Sea of Thieves as well. But what goes into a ship name? How do you choose a ship name, right? It's actually a lot more complicated than you think. So when it comes to figuring out how to name your ship, it's important to understand that traditional nomenclature or naming of ships ceremonially actually dates back to thousands of years in human history. While every decision on a ship is, generally considered to be an engineering and scientific endeavor, the decision of naming a ship often actually has taken on consideration around beliefs or cultural customs or different superstitions that humans have had over a series of millennia. Traditionally, the naval community believed that the name of a ship actually had a great role in bringing good fortune and safety to a vessel, its crew, and its passengers. However, the history of ship naming ceremonies also date back to the 3rd millennium BC, where several pieces of evidence actually suggested that the naval community in Babylonia actually used to perform different ship launching and naming ceremonies. And similarly, mariners from Rome and Egypt and Greece had conducted christening ceremonies to seek help from the gods to protect their vessels before starting different voyages. And, each different civilization and society has their own tradition regarding vessels. The Viking Age is really interesting because ship launching was actually marked by the spilling of blood. And during medieval age times, the wine was offered to replace the blood. So I would suspect that in today's day and age, that's where the breaking the bottle of champagne over the bow maybe originated.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. But how are ships named, right? So common practices that have evolved over different centuries. At present, ships are generally named during a ceremonial ship launching. So this is usually involves a public celebration, as well as some sort of blessing after completing the construction of the ship. And I'm sure that you guys are all familiar. You've seen on social media one way or another, a ship's just like sort of tilting and launching into the sea, and it's just this massive wave of water. On the day of ship launching itself, ships will be decorated with different flags and color ribbons, ceremonial sort of garb. And of course, there's an event and music and all kinds of things. This is the usual sort of standard practice. But there isn't really any formal process to naming a ship. The ceremony usually begins with the launching of the vessel, and after the ship is launched, the vessel's godmother, which is another traditional practice in which female civilian sponsors a vessel to wish good luck and safe journey, smash a champagne bottle over the bow of the ship. And this sort of christening sees the ship's name as being officially revealed in front of the audience as well. And so naming a civilian ship is actually a matter based on the owner of the ship itself. So commercial liners, right, like cruise liners and tankers and things like that, it's a different thing. But civilian-based ships are based on the owners themselves. And the procedures to select different names for things like military vessels are actually different from country to country, right? The USS Constitution, the HMS Queen Victoria, etc. Earlier in time, most civilian ships were actually named after different goddesses or mythical creatures. And that practice actually changed as owners started to name their ships after female names that were important in their life. And the conventions around ship naming has changed over the years. Naval powers, of course, are things that have influenced that as well. For instance, vessels of the U.S. Navy are named by the Secretary of the Navy under the direction of the President, in line with written rules for naming different categories of ships. So things, names given to, say, U.S. Navy ships would include prominent geographical locations or names borne by previous remarkable ships, or naval leaders or national figures or deceased members of the Navy and Marine Corps who have been honored in some way or form. I thought it was kind of interesting that ships previously were named after women. But this isn't always the case. Traditionally, ships were referred to with the feminine pronoun, but this practice has sort of declined more recently. But there is several theories that explain the reason for the practice, and they suspect that it started centuries ago. So one of the explanations is that earlier ships were named after goddesses and mythical figures, as I said, seeking protection for the vessel. But another theory is the sense of nurturing and protection associated with female names also play a role in the custom of, blessing a ship and giving that sense of protection. People often have given ship names to follow with a mother, or other ships that are smaller versions of the same ship, sort of as like a maternal sort of relationship. Like, yeah. So, and then also, some people have also argued that ships were referred to with feminine pronouns, since those who control the ships earlier were men, who were considered their relationship with their ships as personal, and spending a lot of time at sea.
They were probably very lonely out there at sea.
Yeah. So, and that's interesting because if you consider the language behind it, some people have argued that the idea of a ship itself as a female object became embedded in sort of maritime tradition, because the Latin word for ship, navis, is feminine. So, but obviously you can understand and recognize that maybe there's some sexist connotations in today's day and age to doing that same practice. But whatever the reason behind naming a ship, present owners will often choose names of important women in their life or even popular female names to help others recognize their vessel. However, there's been quite a bit of a decline in this. But here's some other interesting facts around ship names as well. So the great thing about ship names is that there's always a story attached to it, right? And so Titanic, for example, is such a memorable story. It's a memorable historical event. What would we refer to it as if it didn't have a name? That ship that sunk in the Atlantic in 1912, right? So the name of a vessel is actually really important if you think about it from a human, cultural, anthropological sort of view. Ships will carry often more than one name, one printed on the hull and the other that is stated on the bareboat charter party, considering different interests. But if you give a ship's its name, it's not entirely eternal. So many believe that it's bad luck to actually change the name of your ship. The name of a ship can often be changed when the ownership of the vessel changes. But sometimes the name of older vessels, which are sort of designated for demolition, will be changed to a variation of a previous name. Mm-hmm. And so that's just sort of the origins of where ship names kind of came about. But it's this whole human phenomenon that is just always been part of human culture. And of course the military have systematically processed it in such, standardized it in such a way. But other than that, civilian ship names, it's a really big part. Like, what do we name our ship? So I think it's fair to say that people in Sea of Thieves have wanted to be able to name their ship from the start.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's so odd that you haven't been able to do that. So, anyways, I do have a fun list of some fun names of ships that people have named their boats
Okay.
in real life. So you
I'm
ready for this?
excited. Yes.
So at the top of our list, we have Unsinkable 2,
I love the implication there.
right? Zombies Can't Swim from St. Louis, Montana. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
We've got another one here, Usain Boat, which I think I listed earlier, and Pug Boat, which is cute because, tugboat. What about Error 404, Fish Not Found? Titanic 2. I feel like that's just a bad idea.
Yeah, that's cursing yourself.
This other post says, this person said, I work at a marina and a pharmacist brought his boat in for inspection, and on the back of the boat it says drug money.
That's really funny.
Here's another one, Not Shore, like shore, like the shoreline.
Mm-hmm.
The Wet Dream, which I think is, classy, of course. In a Meeting, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Where are you right now? I'm in a meeting. Breaking Bass was one. The Codfather, another. There's lots of really great names. I love how punny they are.
And some of these are very, very cute.
Yeah, they're great. A Boat Time.
Yeah, boy. It's boy, like
Yeah.
B-O-Y.
I think my favorite, though, has to be Friendship.
Oh, that's so cute.
Right? Friendship. So,
That's so cute.
I may rename my boat in Sea of Thieves to Friendship. just to try to, like, entice bad people to be friendly.
What is your ship called now?
My ship right now is called the SS Minnow. Very original, I know. But that's it. Yeah.
Lovely.
So if you've got an idea for a ship name or what you have named your ship, post a picture in Screenshots and Stories, and or send us an email, or don't send us an email. Post it in MailStack. Yeah, that's it.
One of my favorite boat naming stories was that I think it was in the UK, and I think it was a military ship, and they had a contest where the citizenry could choose the name of the ship, and it ended up being called Boaty McBoatface.
Oh, I love it.
Because that's what happens when you let democracy reign. You get Boaty McBoatface. So I loved that story.
That's great. Yeah, so that brings us to the next part of our show, which is our special spotlight, our streamer spotlight. As you guys know, we like to shout out a new streamer that I or Shalene find in our travels in the Twitch community, because part of doing this show is supporting video gamers and streamers like yourselves, and so we always want to promote and try to make people feel as though they are included. And so this week's spotlight is Bosu G. Bosu G is a relatively newer streamer to the Twitch community, and he is he's a really energetic person. I've been watching his streams. It's very exciting to be in there. He always remembers who you are. If you go to his Twitch page, you'll see he says, I'm Bossy G, 24-year-old Spanish-Filipino IT student. I've been gaming my whole life, and I'm so happy to be able to enjoy every genre. Of course, I have my preferences, like RPGs, strategies, or Sims. I'm also a musician. I play the guitar, the bass, the ukulele, the piano, some drums, and I sing and rap as well. I'm also a bookworm, and he just welcomes everybody into his stream. So you can catch him live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, as well as Saturday at 5 p.m. CET time. Yeah,
Lovely.
That's our streamer spotlight. And I guess time for one of our favorite parts of the show, what the community is playing.
Yay! I love this segment.
So Shalene is going to walk us through describing some of these images, and I'm going to read out the little messages that come with them. But this first post is from Taz, and he says, November morning sunrise, Farm Sim 22.
Yes, he is baling hay in those big round bales. He's hauling a trailer full of them with this little tractor.
It's great. It's got the sun going down.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
We've got another one here from Taz as well. He says, 7 days to die. Zombies are coming for Shalene.
This is a street sign in New Mexico. Albuquerque, 246 miles. Santa Fe, 305 miles. Alamogordo, 334 miles. Roswell, 368 miles. And Roswell is crossed out and it says, don't go.
Can you answer me this? Is this the actual road conditions in New Mexico?
Well, I don't know where this is located. That's pretty far. This is maybe, I'm not sure where this would be.
Maybe.
It's like pretty far from everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
We've also got a couple here from Ash DZ, and he posted this one and said, DJ Stray.
The kitty has a record. I haven't gotten to this part yet. I need to play this game.
Yeah. And also this other variation, a better shot of him holding the record.
It's so cute.
Yeah. I love that the DJ robots have microphone heads.
That is pretty fabulous.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
This next one from RTZ13.
Oh, this is cool.
He says, just completed the Titanfall 2 campaign. Great shooter with a reasonable story, not too long, like a good action movie.
I had a coworker back in the day who was obsessed with Titanfall. He was always trying to get me to play Titanfall.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And a couple from RTZ. So that last one was a ship exploding or something on the platform that he's on.
Yeah.
And this next one is
this is going to be from inside the Titan.
Ah, yes. And there's robots on the other side. They look very intimidating with their rifles. And this next one on the ground of a planet, there's a giant ship sort of crashing in the background, and they look like they're getting ready to ambush.
This is pretty.
Very pretty. And then this one, which looks like it's from inside some sort of hangar or ship.
This looks kind of Halo-y.
Yeah. Another post here from Taz, who says, loading up to feed the cows, Bloomfield, Canada. And it looks like it's actually snowing. So he's got his little grain trailer, which actually looks like a giant bathtub.
It does.
Why is it rounded like that?
And how many tractors does he have? Isn't that a different tractor?
Yeah, but wait, there's more. Here's a different tractor.
Third tractor.
This one is an image of him with a
snow.
Giant snowblower on the front of his tractor, which I think is pretty cool. The snow option. I've actually haven't checked that out in Farm Sim, but
cool.
And this one.
Hey!
This is Callie and I finally got a chance to sail together, and I took a picture of her sign. This is a Callie Galley.
I love it. I love it. You guys have been calling it the Callie Galley for quite some time.
Yes, we have.
And I love that it is now officially the Callie Galley.
Yes, I love it. And also this image from when you and I sailed last week.
Well, who's that handsome fella?
Yeah. So that's the new.
This is Bender's pirate.
Yeah.
He's quite the pirate. It's hard to describe the majesty of Bender's pirate. He's a little scarred up. He's been had by the Kraken one too many times. And he's got a grizzled gray glitter beard. He's wearing a beautiful flower crown. It's lovely.
And I'm using the new emote that you can get for free, which is holding up a picture frame. So if you play Sea of Thieves or you frequent it, make sure you log in, get that free emote.
I feel like your dog is back there judging you.
Oh, totally. He's like, look at this idiot. At it again with his screenshots. Anyways, that's what the community is playing. Let's move on to what we're playing. Do you want to go first?
Sure, I do. I haven't been playing a ton. I've been keeping up with the Fallout 76 homework. I am getting very close to reaching the end of the scoreboard. I think I hit 89 pretty recently. That may be overestimating it, but I'm in the high 80s, and I'm pretty excited about it. Feeling very proud. We are going to get there, and of course, I've been playing with Arjun. Nothing too stupendous. We're just hanging out, playing some Fallout, doing the events, you know, and
Nice.
enjoying our lives. But I do have another thing to talk about. I was thinking the other day about some Zelda games, some of the older Zelda games. I was thinking about Minish Cap and how I never finished Minish Cap. And I wanted to go back and finish Minish Cap. And then I got to thinking about the fact that, you know what? I don't think I've ever played Oracle of Ages or Oracle of Seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there's a way to play them nowadays. Like, I don't think that they're available on the Switch. I don't think and I thought, well, I have my GBA. It still works. And maybe I can find some cartridges because I want to say Oracle of Ages and Seasons were Game Boy Color games. So I was doing some searches thinking maybe I can find some old carts and play these games. And turns out these video games are pretty expensive. But I did run across an Etsy seller that makes bootlegs, and I may or may not have purchased these, and they work super well. It was like $20 for a set of Oracle of Ages, Seasons, Link to the Past, and Minish Cap. So
That's
they
wild.
work. Yeah, they don't even look like a bootleg. Look at that.
Oh, I love
Doesn't
it.
look like a bootleg. Yeah.
And is it like a 3D printed?
I don't know. It just looks like a GBA cart. Just absolutely looks like a GBA cart.
Huh.
And I tested out Oracle of Seasons, and it works. I haven't really spent much time with it, but I've got my GBA here, and I'm just gonna turn up the sound here and let you listen. Any minute now. But great. This is classic. But you can't hear it?
No, I can't hear it at all. What all we got is silence over here, right, guys?
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Anyways, it absolutely works, and I'm happy.
I love it.
So that's that.
That's great. That's what a way to get back to your stack.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Well, I did some more driving in ATS. I've been really enjoying this old 1971 Peterbilt mod that I downloaded from Modland, and just been driving around. The new Montana DLC has been released, and there's a new event for that. So there's if you do 12 hauls in the Montana DLC, you can unlock a personal goal. Yeah, that's been kind of exciting. And then I also did some sailing with you and Rick last weekend. I was a little bit disappointed that we weren't able to actually see some of the new content because it was bugged. The server was bugged. So we couldn't load in our own ship. You're muted, by the way, Shalene.
that was a bummer.
Yeah. So, but I did manage to hop into Sea of Thieves, I think, on Wednesday evening with Grim and Kit and Callie on a Callie Galley. And I actually bought a ship and I decorated. There's plants everywhere, Shalene. I have plants all over my ship.
Fantastic. I'm
It's
so
awesome.
excited.
And I bought some barnacles to stick on the side, and it's great. I love it. So I'm excited to show you my ship. Yeah, but let's go buy some ships and decorate them.
Yes, let's do it.
So that's a show, fellow listeners. Don't forget we're sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of beans, our We Just Love Coffee blend, and $2 from every bag goes to the Children's Miracle Network. If you have something that you want to talk to us about on the show, or if you want us to talk about on the show, if you have questions for us, you want to tell us one of your stories about playing video games or what you think of the show, you can write into us at info@wejustlovegames.com, or if you're already in the Discord, you can hop right into the mail stack channel and post your comments there. Any other announcement, Shalene?
Yeah, I just would like to drop a little self promo and ask everybody to check out my other podcast, Dames Who Game. So
yes,
we're going to be
Dames.
recording a new episode tomorrow, and I'm very excited to hang out with the Dames.
Well, when you do talk to them, plant the bug for recording a new episode of GameStack.
GameStack. Yes.
Don't forget, you can find Shalene and I on Twitter, Shalene at Shalene L, myself at Vendertron N, and the network Twitter at We Just Love Games. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/We Just Love Games, facebook.com/group/We Just Love Games. And if you scroll down, you're listening live right now, you scroll down right below Shalene there, the Discord link on our Twitch page, twitch.tv/We Just Love Games, will bring you right into the chat after dark. Don't forget, we record the show live every Friday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, once again here on twitch.tv/We Just Love Games. Our show, if you want to listen to it after the fact, is uploaded to YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. Please like, subscribe, and review. Thank you all for listening. Shalene, have you got a last word?
Boaty McBoatface.
Good night, all.